Hey, y'all, come look at this.
One last thing before we go here, I'd like to just point out to you that the quote that he has provided is perverted. You've changed it. What did you change? I'm not even going to say what you changed. Leave it that way so that you can go back and either be silent about the fact that you altered the statement and what you've posted is not the statement, or so that you can go back and fix it and show that you altered the statement. You liar. Also, Al-Bayhaqi in Al-Asma' wa Sifat explicitly said that there is no authentic hadith that attributes salt, sound, or voice to Allah. Everyone who knows what the Ash'aris believe know that they say Allah is not in a place, He's not in a direction, He has no up, no down, no right, no left, no front, no behind. He's not inside, He's not outside. He doesn't have an inside or an outside. Also, Al-Bayhaqi in Al-Asma' wa Sifat explicitly said that there is no authentic hadith that attributes salt, sound, or voice to Allah. We say that Allah will enable His slaves to hear His uncreated speech that is not a letter and it is not a sound. And He will enable them to understand whatever He will. Each one will understand from his speech whatever Allah willed for him to understand. They all hear the same speech, which is the speech of Allah. His speech is one speech that does not change, it's not created, it's not any language. And all of the slaves will hear that speech, and each one will understand whatever Allah willed for him to understand. So we do indeed believe that the speech of Allah is heard, but it is heard unlike the speech of the creation is heard, and unlike anything created is heard. To Allah is the ruling, and He is Asra'ul Hasibin, the fastest questioner. What does it mean to be the fastest questioner? It means to speak with a speech that's not even created. For final clarity about this issue, here is what Imam Al-Bayhaqi said in Al-Asma' wa Sifat. He says, وَإِنَّمَا أَشَارَ الْبُخَارِيُّ إِلَيْهِ فِي تَرْجَمَةِ الْبَابِ واختلف الحفاظ في الاحتجاج بروايات ابن عقيل لسوء حفظه. Al-Bukhari merely signaled to the hadith in the introduction of the chapter. He means something by that statement. Something that the people who study the hadith know, and the people who truly study the book of Al-Bukhari, they know his methods and reasons for doing things. واختلف الحفاظ في الاحتجاج بروايات ابن عقيل. And the Huffaz, top headmaster scholars of hadith, differed about using as evidence the narrations of Ibn Aqil, who's in this chain of narration. لِسُوءِ حِفْظِهِ, due to his bad memory. So just because it's in Al-Bukhari, that alone doesn't make it evidence to say that it's an attribute of Allah. There is no rule that says if a hadith is in Sahih al-Bukhari, then it confirms an attribute of Allah. وَلَمْ تَثْبُتْ صِفَةُ الصَّوْتِ فِي كَلَامِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. The attribute of sawt is not confirmed in the speech of Allah. That means there's no ayah in the Quran about that. Azza wa Jal. أو في حديث صحيح عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم غير حديثه. Nor in an authentic hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam other than this hadith, and he's going to clarify that he's saying, actually assuming that it's authentic. وَلَيْسَ بِنَا ضَرُورَةٌ إِلَىٰ إِثْبَاتِهِ, and we do not have by that a necessity to confirm it as an attribute of Allah. That means it's not strong enough. وَقَدْ يَجُوزُ أَنْ يَكُونَ الصَّوْتُ فِيهِ, and it's possible that the sawt that's mentioned in the hadith, in kana thabitan, if the hadith is authentic. Just because Al-Bukhari says that a hadith is authentic, that doesn't mean that another scholar could never disagree with him. And it doesn't mean that that other scholar is definitely wrong because Al-Bukhari said it's authentic. The scholars have their ways of talking about that. What's important here is that the qualified scholars of hadith have differed about the authenticity of a hadith. So it's not strong enough to be evidence. Saying that Al-Bukhari is higher than Al-Bayhaqi is irrelevant. In this case, it's irrelevant because the rule doesn't go back to whether Al-Bukhari is higher than Al-Bayhaqi or if one scholar in hadith is higher than the other. The rule goes back to the qualified scholars of hadith, some being higher than others, agreeing on the authenticity of the hadith so that it would be evidence in the creed. He says, وَقَدْ يَجُوزُ أَنْ يَكُونَ الصَّوْتُ فِيهِ إِنْ كَانَ ثَابِتًا. It's possible that the sawt that's mentioned in the hadith, in kana thabitan, if it's authentic, if it's confirmed, raji'an ila ghayrihi, that it refers back to other than Allah, not an attribute of Allah. He also said, وَكَذَلِكَ الصَّوْتُ الْمَذْكُورُ فِي هَذَا الْحَدِيثِ. Likewise, the sawt that's mentioned in this hadith, in kana sahiha, if it's authentic, وَلَا أَرَاهُ يَصِحُ, and I do not see that it is authentic, إِلَّا وَهُوَ مُضَافٌ إِلَى غَيْرِ اللَّهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى, unless it is attributed to other than Allah. And that's due to the definitive mental evidence. Due to the definitive mental evidence. That's something that the Wahhabis do not regard. The mental evidence, which proves that Allah is not a body and that He is eternal and unchanging. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam.